you there? Okay, you are not there. I'll move on. Mr. Jonathan, please talk to us, sir. Good evening to you. It's good to have you on the show.
Oh, okay, Mr. Elvis. Thank you very much. God bless you for the
Thank you
good
very much,
working.
sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, yeah, good evening to you. I greet you, and let me also use this opportunity to greet all the donors and all the contributors. God will continue to bless each and every one of you. My fellow
Exactly. Amen.
panelists, I greet you. Madam Rita, Mr. Give us a mandate. God bless you. You're welcome. Mommy Diaspora, good evening. Good evening, man. God bless you greatly. And, yeah, my fellow commenters and callers, prospective callers, I greet you all. God bless you all greatly. You're welcome. Yeah, I think I've I've been with the broadcast, maybe about an hour ago. So I listened to many of those short videos while I was, you know, busy, but I was, following the broadcast. So, but the first thing I want to say is the Showore video that you showed, and he was talking about Showore was talking about VDM, the fight between VDM and the guy called B Lord. And I agree with Showore on this particular one. For me, I just stay on the side of truth, regardless who you are, as long as what you are saying, first of all, makes sense to me, is rational, and is a truth. We might disagree on so many things, or I might disagree with him. I might not be his supporter or his fan, but when I see the truth, I stay by the truth. I stand by it. So on this one, I'll stand by him. I believe his comments were just in the morning online. Yeah. Because there is no, first of all, there's no reason for VDM to go this far. I think so. That's my own personal. I know people have said, oh, impersonation, when you are impersonated and this and that and that. But it's one thing to try to prove that. It's another thing to try to, to go for a fight as in personal vendetta, to prove something. How do we know that? You've gone to court, your case proven to the point where the judge denied the accused person bail, and then subject the person to prison, send the person to prison for until the next court date. Then what is the joy there now to follow the person to prison? Somebody should tell me the wisdom behind that, the joy that you get in that. I'm not in Omoyele Showore's brain, but I think that is what is prompting him on this one to do this. You've got what you want, what you are seeking for. Then what is the joy there now following the person to prison? What is the wisdom there? What is it there? I think that was childish, and I think that was foolish. There's no wisdom there at all, at all. Let's just say the truth. You've gone to court, you got what you are seeking for, go home. Go and sit down with your lawyer and get updated. Period. But now following the person to prison to go and say bye-bye, like it is completely out of line. Completely out of line. Because as for me, as more as I'm a circular person and I go by numbers and all the rest of it, go by fact and figure. I'm also a very, very spiritual person. Very, very. But I don't allow my spirituality to affect my judgment. I don't. So you've gone to court. You had your day. You got what you were seeking for. Fine. Okay. The Bible talks about mercy. 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 He who gives mercy shall obtain mercy. The famous Matthew 5, the Beatitude. Mercy. So we must tread softly. You cannot be that insensitive. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. The fact that you had your case already built for you, and you got what you were seeking for in court. That's all. That's all. Go home. Go home. It is not left for you to now come out and then be celebrating the street, and then in fact follow the person to the prison gate. You need to go and sit down and ask God for mercy. Go and sit down and ask God for mercy. So what Omoyele Sowore said in this regard, I think is okay, and I think VDM should take one or two lessons from this and just, do the needful. That's what I want to say, with respect to that. And then coming to ADC, what is, going on right now. We always like the cheap way, Nigerians. We always like it. And everybody likes to be correct. Everybody wants to be correct. Everybody wants to be on the good side. You don't necessarily have to be on the good side. Just say the truth and, leave the rest. This one that people are blaming, now finding a way or a space to blame Mr. Peter Obi, looking for everything, playing the devil's advocate, blaming APC, ADC rather, blaming ADC, that ADC is the architect of its own problem and all the rest of it. That's just a cheap way. Let's just stay on the core matter. Don't let us move away from it. If you want to, there's another day. People finding it so easy. The ADC, they have their internal problems and all the rest of it. They should have done it better. Please don't. That is not what you should be talking about. Stay on the core. What is the core now? The very serious attempt by the ruling party to ensure that there will be no contest, there will be no contest in 2027. That is the core of the matter here. They are really doing it. In fact, Mr. Igini, less than 2 weeks ago, he said, if Nigeria will fail, it will be the lawyers. It will be the lawyers that will enable it. They will fast track it if the Nigerian state will fail. Yes. Believe this is part of the core of the subject here, of the subject matter here. The role that the lawyers are playing, the role that the judiciary is playing, and the role that the not independent INEC, the not independent at all, the not independent INEC is playing, the non-independent independent commission is playing. These are the core of this subject matter that we should not deviate from. We should focus on them, on all of this. Because at the end of the day, we are just giving room. We are just giving the APC more room to dance, more room to continue to perpetrate their evil. There is no way. One thing I know for sure is that this act by INEC is not sustainable. It will not stand. Because I took time yesterday. I just took my time yesterday because I was thinking about this ADC, because it's not going anywhere. So in fact, it's going to be in the news as each day goes by now. It's going to be in the news. I listened to one lawyer on, I don't know whether Arise or TV, and then he talked about the constitution of the ADC. And then it dawned on me, this ADC, I've never seen their constitution. No. I've never, even read that constitution. Then I Google it. And when I saw it, I said, okay, not bad. This one will take about maybe an hour read, maybe an hour, not up to an hour and a half to read it. After all, I'm not even going to read from beginning to the end. Let me just go to the areas that are relevant to the issues here. Let me just go there. Because they always say that Nigerians, we don't read. Very sad statement. That Nigeria, that if you want to hide anything from Nigerians, just put it in a book. And these crooked lawyers, they know they are using it. That is the statement by Mikey Guinea. That statement just doesn't come from an empty position or from a clueless position. He said it from the place of fact, from what he knows, that if Nigeria will fail, it will be the lawyers that will enable it to fail, the judicial system. Because when I now read the specific area of the ADC constitution, that I now said, wow, Igini said it. Because I've not seen even the party, even the political parties, even their lawyers, I've not seen any one of them. They all know the lawyers. I'm talking about the lawyers now. The lawyers, the real one, because we have many under the bridge lawyers in Nigeria. We have many, charge and bail, they call them. We have them. But the real one, they know, but they are not bringing this out. Because the constitution of the ADC clearly states that a decision that has been reached, that is Article 13 of the ADC constitution, Article 13, which stated the powers and the functions of the National Executive Committee. And that section stated that the decision of the National Working Committee shall be binding on all organs and all members. The decision of the National Working Committee shall be binding on all organs and all members. That is Article 13, Section 6, subsection 7 of the ADC Constitution. Article 13, Section 6, subsection 7. So, what is let's forget about signature or no signature now. Because maybe a lawyer will come and explain this to us. And I can tell you for free, all those journalists you are seeing on Nigerian TV Arise, the major ones, channels, TVC, News Central, I can guarantee you, I stand to be proven wrong. I will accept it. I doubt it if they have read this constitution before they are bringing all these people to interview them on their various channels. I doubt it, because what I saw in that constitution baffles me, that this is uncalled for. This is totally unnecessary. But the crooked lawyers are taking advantage. And because the journalists cannot read, they cannot investigate. Because you need to interrogate this. Then lawyers can now maybe go deeper and tell us why, how. This, what is happening now is happening. Because the Constitution is very clear that the decision made by that executive committee is binding. And a decision was made by the National Working Committee to dissolve the National Working Committee. So that decision is binding. That's what your constitution says. Article 15 of that same constitution of the ADC talks about appeal. That is, if they do anything within the party that you are not comfortable with, you can appeal. And that Article 15D of the ADC constitution, it baffles me when I read it. It is true. If you want to hide anything from Nigerians, just put it in a book. You are 90%, you will be 90% successful, if not 99%. You will achieve your goal. Because when I read that Article 15D, it says that any party member or members aggrieved by the decision now of the National Working Committee, if you are aggrieved of the decision of the party, shall have the right of appeal within 14 days of the decision. 14 days. It was July 29. Then I said, okay, how relevant is this? Then I have to start to Google to really go back and see, okay, when was this David Martin actually came up? When was the time that they actually met? When was the time they came public, to announce this coalition and everything? It was July 29. July 29, 2025. That was when they passed that resolution. If this Nafiu Gombe had issues, he had that issues 14 days. He did not raise anything. 14 days. 14 days, he didn't do anything. So whatever that is, and then INEC, we have a SAN, SAN, as the chairman of INEC. They have a legal department there loaded with lawyers. Then they came up with this decision that the only thing they will do now is to get rid of the entire leadership of the ADC. With all this clearly stated in the constitution of the party. So even forget about his signature. Forget about whether it's being funded from the outside. What about the constitution of the party? Hence, the Supreme Court. So anyway, Mr. Elvis, because I'm talking from the place of my knowledge now, what I have read now. So I have so much to say. There are other sections of that constitution too that are very clear. Or maybe a lawyer will have to come and explain it better for us, or Nigerian journalists, the media, will begin to ask the relevant questions here. They will begin to ask these politicians the relevant questions here. So let me just leave it there so that I have other things to say, but I will set it aside.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Elvis.
Thank you, Mr. Jonathan, for that submission. Thank you so much. Sometimes I look forward to people like you and many others here to come help me break it down for us to understand what these guys are doing. Thank you very much. And for your submission as well by backing Omoyele Sowore on this particular one. Uh, Thank you for being fair, regardless of your continuous uh, criticism and all that about Sowore. But at least you can still cite the truth.